Welcome to another episode of Bay Area Home Hustle Podcast. I'm your host, Parm Rahi. I'm joined with Mike Brown.
Hey guys.
And today we're going to address a lot of these issues that are coming on the market today, which is inflation, recession, and also how it all relates to real estate.
It all starts with the tariff wars.
Absolutely, it does. So first of all, let's address inflation really quick. Inflation as of last week, month over month, has come down actually. It is at 2.8% now. So it came down almost 2 percentage points, I believe. Close to it,
Yeah.
right? So that's a good thing for the overall economy, right? But the tariffs are not helping at all. Obviously, you guys
The
been following
kicker,
around.
man.
The kicker, right? So obviously, every time our president, is imposing a tariff on another country, it sends shockwaves in the market, right? Especially in terms of the overall market and
World market.
the world markets really, and then it slows everyone down, right? People get scared. People are thinking like this is sort of the end of the economy. We're going to go into a recession. Housing prices are going to fall, and blah blah blah.
Yep.
Yada yada.
Values fall.
Right. So let's just talk about the tariffs really quick. So what are the tariffs? So how many tariffs are there right now? Do you remember?
There's
so many.
And you know what? Sometimes the tariffs are on, sometimes the tariffs are off.
Yeah, I mean that's another thing, right? So there's a call to make tariffs, right? Especially
Right.
in our own region, North America, right? And
Right.
then a day or two later, he rescinds that order, or he extends the tariff for another 30 days or so forth. So currently, I believe it's been rescinded on Mexico and Canada for 30 days, I believe.
Yeah, till April 4th or
Third,
something
fourth,
like that. Yeah.
right. So it's been rescinded until then, or now it's sort of put on hold, right? But there is a tariff on aluminum and stuff, though, right?
Yes. My beer is going to cost more.
Right. Now, beer cans, of course, are made from aluminum, right? So it's going to go up. So what does it mean? Like, what does it mean for average consumer?
Well, okay. So let's just say we put tariffs on Canada, right?
Right.
Canada retaliates. They put tariffs on us.
Which they tried to do on the energy side.
Right. But then that was just one
region,
province that decided, but they took that off.
Right.
Because it was going to get hit by, they were going to get hit by 50% tariffs. Right now it's 25, I believe, on certain things, right? So let's just say we're Canadian getting something from Canada, maybe their beef or something like that, right?
Or syrup.
Or maple syrup. So it comes to the wholesalers,
right,
to buy the product from Canada that sells to the retailers. So the wholesaler has to pay more.
Yeah.
They're going to charge more to the retailer.
Right.
Retailer is going to charge more to the store, and the store needs to charge more to me.
Yeah, to the consumer.
Right.
Absolutely.
So I did look at it a little bit. So something like, say, 25% tariff that costs $10 will end up being $11 or something like that.
So there is an increment change in terms of pricing, right? I mean, obviously, the price is going to go up, right? I mean, it's only natural. A lot of these mom and pop shops, they can't really absorb the prices, right? Big shop might be able to absorb some of this, but not long term, right?
Well, big shops also got their problems too, because they got more square footage. Their rent is high unless they own the property, which a lot of stores don't, and they got a whole lot of staff to pay.
That's true.
So it affects big and small. Small, mom and pops are going to get hit first because they really don't make that much profit.
Yeah.
Right. Usually their markups are 30%.
Yeah.
Right. To break even in the mom and pop grocery stores.
Right.
But if you have like Safeway, Lucky, those guys, you're gonna see a jump.
Absolutely. And remember, end of the day, I mean, of course, this is sort of a negotiation for our president too, right? In a way, right? I mean, he's proposing tariffs and stuff from different countries. End of the day, he's trying to bring them to the table and negotiate, right? So I don't see this long term, but in short term, there's going to be this, uncertainty, volatility in the market, in the entire economy. I don't think that's going to go away immediately, especially with the reduction of what he's doing on the government side, to jobs and things like that.
Yeah,
what he's doing.
They say there's so much unemployment in Washington, D.C.
Right.
People are losing. I mean, the federal workers, right? I forgot the number, but it was like 90%.
It's staggering.
It's staggering. But then the ones losing their jobs, it's going to affect DC.
everything. It's going to affect DC.
People not going to be able to buy a home or make their mortgage.
Yeah. I remember reading an article too that the number of it's funny that you brought that up. The number of people that are employed by the government in the last 3 to 4 years have dramatically gone up ever since the pandemic.
Yeah.
That sector employment has went up, I think, almost 17 to 18% from prior 4 years.
Wow.
So we have created more jobs in the government sector, and this is why the whole thing about like, okay, let's bring in DOGE to have government efficiencies and let's get rid of these redundant departments and so forth, which I agree to a certain extent. But if you lay off all these people all at once, and like the entire economy slow down, our GDP slows down. So end of the day, like, so we have inflation, we have tariffs. What's tariff going to do? It's going to create a recession, right? Let's get into that really quick. Recession is what? It's a contraction in the economy, right? Your GDP goes down. So everyday things like, so GDP goes down. So things like what we consume and produce all goes down. Consumer sentiment is down, right? And that's what's happening right now. Consumer sentiment is down a little bit.
Yeah. So everything just builds on top of each other.
It does, absolutely. And so right now, looking at the entire economy, yes, the GDP numbers are down, the unemployment numbers are high, inflation is coming down slowly. It is heading in the right direction, but that doesn't mean that the Fed's going to come out and start cutting rates right away. That's not going to happen. And remember, end of the day, we like to reiterate again: mortgage rates don't directly follow the Fed funds rate. Okay, it's a sort of a different relationship.
They're tied in with bonds,
right? So mortgage rates are tied directly with the 10-year yield, which is the bond, and on the bond, there's more demand for the bond. It has an inverse effect. The bond prices go sort of up, and then the rate itself drops, and that's where you see the mortgage rates follow that sort of. It's a very complicated process that happens, but remember, mortgage rates are directly tied to the 10-year yield, nothing to the thing. And other thing I'd like to mention too, and I had a question, similar question the other day from a client, and they asked me about, well, inflation is coming down. Why aren't prices coming down? Why is it that it's so expensive to eat out? So remember another thing too. As inflation goes down, let's say inflation goes down to 2.5% in, let's say, another 2 or 3 months, right? It's gone down dramatically, like as we consume less and so forth, as we headed to somewhat call a little bit of recession. Let's assume that it goes down to 2.5%.
Right.
The Fed, let's say the Fed comes out and says, okay, they're going to reduce the rate by another half a point. Now we're wherever it was 4.3 or 4.5 or something. Let's say it's 4. That affects the let's just say it affects the rates, right? Let's assume that for a second.
Right.
It does not mean, as soon as they reduce the rate, it does not mean that every single item in the economy is going to fall down sharply, right? In other words, like when you go out and eat, buy a piece of sandwich or a burger or something, it costs $20. It doesn't mean you all of a sudden you're going to start paying less for that money. Remember, it takes a long time for these effects to take effect. Okay, remember, rates drop immediately, but the person that's has a restaurant on the other end, his monthly payment doesn't go down immediately. His cost of goods, his cost to buy produce and stuff doesn't go down immediately. Right? It takes a long time, and
what it actually means is it stabilizes. The price doesn't drop down.
Yeah,
but it stabilizes.
Well, right. Remember, if we're not saying there's a monopolistic competition happening in the market, but anytime you have a monopoly of one entity controlling everything, prices will go up, right? Because they can charge whatever the hell they want to.
Right.
The only way prices to go down is as more competition enters the market. It's simple economics 101, right? You have more people playing in the market, then competition will go down. So just remember that just because inflation goes down right away, it doesn't mean that you're going to start seeing prices come down in restaurants, clothing, and all the things that we do every day. It won't happen right away, right? Yeah. So in the short term, it looks like we're looking at a mild recession. And here's another thing, and I'm sure you agree with me on this one. We're probably in a I bet you that we're probably in a fucking recession right now.
Okay, check this out. J.P. Morgan's chief economist, right, last week said 40% chance, but I think we're closer to that.
Yeah. So sometimes, we are already in a recession and we don't know about it. And then we'll come out of the recession and say, oh, yeah, we had a mild recession already 3 months ago. So it could be that. Just remember that, too. I mean, you know it, too, as you go out and shop for things, as you buy things. Things are very expensive. It's not a everyday thing. So this is probably Oh, your day too.
Everybody knows a family of four going out just eat, and it's not even like a 5-star restaurant, maybe just
Right.
a 3-star restaurant. $100.
It's very easy. And so how does it all relate to real estate? End of the day, and we sell real estate, so
All
let's
right.
talk about real estate.
Recession does affect real estate, man.
Yeah, well, in a positive way too sometimes, right? Because
Yeah.
remember, we have a ton of folks that are sitting on the sideline waiting for the rates to drop. By the way, for those of you waiting for the rates to drop, not going to happen. I'm sorry. I have to say this again to you guys. Rates are not going to go down to the 2% or 3%.
We're
If
out
you
of the pandemic, so
Yeah, we're out of the
there's
pandemic.
no more.
If you think the rate's going to go down to that, you're betting on two things. We're betting on the U.S. unemployment market
Oh
to
God.
completely go,
Tank.
crazy, like
Tank.
go to 6-7% or
Yeah.
something. You want unemployment to go up, and you want a crazy calamity to take place in the United States. We don't have that, so rates are not going to go down to that. Rates will decline gradually at a very slow pace down to
But just like inflation, it'll stabilize.
yeah, it's
You know,
forecasted.
yeah,
Like
it's
what
not going to fluctuate. You
yeah,
know,
but it's not going to go down to the
yeah,
2 or 3%. So if
right,
you're sitting on a sideline, remember we always talk about it. Strategy is must, right?
right.
So far, the rates came down to what? It was 6.80
That was
as of
us. Yeah.
today, I believe. So that's just the conventional rate where you put down 20% or more and so forth to purchase property. But if you're looking at a
FHA.
FHA, it's less than that. It's under
No.
6%. It's 5.98, I believe.
Right.
So I think end of the day, affordability, what you have saved up, you have to have a strategy. You got to sit down with a mortgage loan officer, come up with the
We always
numbers.
stress that. I mean, work with your realtor, work with your agent, a knowledgeable one of, and somebody who really
Right.
is what going to work for you, take care of
Absolutely.
you, and been watching the market, watching the rates, and make a suggestion is, hey, I really feel that this is going to bottom out, not going to go any lower.
Yeah.
Lock it in. It's, you lock in your rate doesn't mean you're going to go and shop right away. It
Right.
just means that you got that rate.
Exactly. And it turns sort of lets you shop around, especially like I said, if you have the down payment, why not, use it to the right cause? If
Yeah.
you're renting for a while, you're on the fence of buying a property, it might be the perfect time. Remember, inventory is still somewhat elevated, right? There's a lot
Right.
of price cuts. But again, remember this too. In California, especially in the Bay Area, we don't have that where we have a surge in inventory and surge in price cuts. We don't have that. It's very much micro markets. We have
Yeah.
pockets, right? We
Right.
have
Right.
pockets. Like for instance, we can tell you, like in Walnut Creek is one of the hottest cities right now buying a property,
Yes,
right?
it is.
People are coming with like
Yeah.
50% down,
Yeah.
even all cash as well too. Um, that's one hot market. But if you look at inversely, if you look at like Danville, for instance, right, see a lot of price cuts.
Right.
Right. Why is that? Because properties are listed pretty high, and
Yeah.
there's not a lot of buyers willing to
Right.
pay for that price.
Right. Right. It's
Uh,
always that case. And as I said, if you guys are ready, make that commitment.
yeah, absolutely. What else are we going to talk about?
Well, let's talk about moving back to real estate, how it's affected by recessions, right?
Yeah.
And you and I, we're actually not negative, but we pretty
We
sure
try
that
to
we
keep
were
things
very
positive.
close.
We try to keep things
Yeah,
positive.
but we're actually very square with you. We call it the way it is.
Yeah.
You know what we perceive, right?
Yeah.
And we have our nose in the market, so we know what's going on. So anyway, recession affects real estate, very negative impact, right? Decreased demand,
Yeah.
lower home prices,
Yes.
and the unfortunate thing is this: buyers might even have it harder to get funding.
Yeah, I mean, if you lose a job or something, well, end of the day, it's a contraction, right? I mean, a
Right.
recession. If you lose your job or something, then all of a sudden you just lost 50% of your
Wiped out.
qualification
Yeah,
for a
yeah,
loan, right?
yeah,
It's wiped out. If you
yeah.
have another partner working, then it doesn't really help, right?
Right.
But if you look at it on the flip side of this thing too, not everyone's going to get unemployed in the recession, right?
Right.
There's still going to be people that are
You
employed.
need it. Some
Yeah, yeah.
like nurses. You'll need
Yeah, I mean,
nurses,
yeah. So
doctors.
the medical field's not going to get
It's
employed.
they say recessions don't hit healthcare.
Yeah, I mean, there's a demand. I mean, there's people sick, right?
Yeah,
You got
well,
to take care of them and
there's
stuff,
always
right?
going to be. Bodies break
So
down.
I mean, they slow down, and their budgets also slow down
Right,
too. They
right.
also contract, but at the same time, it doesn't. There's not a lot of layoffs in that sector, right? But again, end of the day, what I'm trying to say is that there's always an opportunity, right? In a recession. I mean, look what happened in the pandemic. Well, it was a little slightly different scenario, but look at what happened after 2008. We had a recession, we had a financial collapse, we had a recession, but the ensuing years, right? following.
We got out of
People
it. We
bought,
climbed
we
up.
got out of it, but
Yeah.
people bought properties left and right, right?
Yeah.
In 2012, 2013, I mean,
Right.
those properties came down like almost
The
50%.
pandemic, man,
Pandemic.
prices shot up because rates were down.
Yeah. So now, right, we're seeing somewhat of a stabilization in the market, right?
Right.
It's going to take a while, but it will happen, right? I mean, it's going to a point where you're going to see prices for goods or lease prices for properties will come down to a point where they're stable, and so
Right.
is demand, right?
Right. And inflation will be stabilized.
Right. And if the rates come down more, obviously, you know, buyers will come back in the market, and these properties will get snatched up right quick.
Here's something also. Rents do not go down
Yeah, rents don't follow
because
generally.
they don't follow. So actually, if you're really renting right now and you're planning to get into the home buying market,
Yeah.
talk to your agent. You know, compare, because I know that recessions rents go up.
Yeah.
So,
and also on the flip side of this, we talked a lot about buyers, but if you're a seller in this market too, remember you're gonna have to have. We're not saying we're in a recession right now. We're just pointing out the facts that if it's perceived that we are in a recession, it's been called out by a lot of people. If the market even collapses more, right? And you're in the fence of selling your property, you're gonna have to have a lot of patience. It's not gonna be
yeah,
easy to sell your property right away. Remember, we do have micro markets in California, especially in the Bay Area, Contra Costa, and Alameda County. So some areas will sell quicker than most, right?
right.
But you need to have patience. You need to put something in your property, like put value in your property to sell it, right? Like what I mean by that is like, you know, fix it up a little bit, right? Make
Yeah,
it
paint
make it
job.
move in
I
right.
always say, you know, if you want to be really low budget but make it your house
Yeah.
attractive, just a paint job.
Yeah, paint job, make it functional,
Yeah.
nothing is leaking and
Yeah.
things like that,
Yeah.
right? If you can do that, it will move because there will be buyers out there too, right? Recession means okay, cool, rates are down tremendously, buyers will jump back in,
Right.
especially those that are waiting on the sideline,
Right.
right? So I mean, even in the last 2 weeks, I heard that heard and read that the purchase applications went up
Yeah.
by 18%,
Yep.
and then also the refi applications went up
Yeah,
as well too.
refis are up.
So I mean, and all we had is a what, like 50 or 60 basis point. We came down from 7.5 to like 6.72 or 6.62, and sort of climbed up and down a little
One
bit.
day hit 599, but just
Right.
like one day.
But that was like that
Right.
was FHA late.
Yeah,
I was just talking about
FHA.
the conventional,
Right.
right? So remember that as rates come down more, you are going to see more buyers into the market. But again, time will tell. I
Yeah.
think.
And as I said to you guys, keep positive, you know, pay attention to the market.
Yeah.
If you're ready, give us a call.
Absolutely. Well,
We're here to give you info.
that's it. That's all we have.
Thanks,
Take care.
guys.